Well, hello, welcome to our continuing Bible devotional. We're currently looking at the book of Ephesians, and today we're in Ephesians chapter 2. And let's start with verses 6 and 7, and we'll see if we get any further than that. But he starts off here in verses 6 and 7 by just reminding us of how awesome and great and amazing the blessings of God are that he has poured out into the lives of every Christian. He says here in verse 6, God has raised us up with him, with Jesus, and seated us with him in the heavenly places in Christ Jesus, so that in the coming ages he might show the immeasurable riches of his grace and kindness toward us in Christ Jesus. The first thing we're told here is that God has raised us up, meaning all those who place their faith in Jesus, all Christians. But he's raised us up with him. So in the same way that Jesus was resurrected and exalted and ascended and has received a place in a position of privilege and favor, that's what's happened to us. We are seated. This is an amazing thing. He has seated us, sinners that we are, broken, stubborn, struggling, sometimes going in the wrong direction people. As broken as we are, he's in his grace, he has taken us and seated us with Christ in the heavenly places. And what that means is that in some sense, not in every sense, but at least in some sense, we share in Christ's exalted position. We rule and we reign with him. We share in his special privileges. That in this, Jesus has a special communion with the Father. By virtue of us being in Christ, we have special communion with the Father. Jesus, by virtue of being the Son, the one who's beloved, has divine favor. We have divine favor in our life. We don't deserve that favor. Jesus does. We don't. But by virtue of being connected to Jesus, we also receive that favor. Jesus has authority to carry out the Father's will. We have authority to carry out the Father's will. Jesus has an inheritance that rightly belongs to him, but it spills over and is shared with us. We have a heavenly inheritance. Jesus was resurrected from the dead with an immortal body, a body that's not beset by the limitations and struggles that we experience in these physical bodies. We also will receive immortal bodies. So to be seated with him in heavenly places is an absolutely amazing blessing to have. And all this is an expression of God's goodness. It says in verse 7 that he's poured out these blessings on our life in verse 7, so that in the coming ages God might show the immeasurable riches of his grace and kindness towards us in Christ Jesus. So by pouring out on us, as undeserving as we are, these amazing blessings, eternal blessings, unparalleled blessings, by pouring these things out on us, God has showed the world, this is how gracious I am. This is how merciful I am. This is how patient I am. This is how loving I am. He has immeasurable riches of grace. You can't even quantify it. You can't even imagine it. You can't understand how good God is, but you can begin to see how good God is, and that he takes us and all of our stubbornness, our struggles, our weakness, our failures, and our repeated promises to do better and then failing again and again. And he takes us and says, I'm going to put you and give you all the blessings and privileges that belong to my son Jesus. I'm going to give those to you. I'm going to seat you with him. That's how good and kind and gracious our God is. So give that some thought today, and I think you will find that you have every reason to be thankful and grateful toward him. Have a blessed day.